onto the MrBeast controversy here. Now that I've just gotten derailed here. So Misfits is a pro team. Okay. So MrBeast has been getting quite the controversial stuff happening to him here. A bunch of his edgy jokes that he made have come to light. He made a comment about Bad Bobby. He was on a podcast and he made a sexual remark about her when she was 14 at the time. So that's come to light. He also is being alleged fake giveaways and his videos being staged, which if you look at the giveaways and you look at the videos that he's done, like, if you're looking at him as an adult, like, yeah, they look definitely a little questionable, especially with the amounts of money he's giving away. Like, I'm sure that he's legitimately given away a bunch of things, a bunch of money, stuff like that, but I think he skews it quite a bit in terms of, for content. So he's also... My issue with MrBeast is he's aiming too much at children, and he encourages them to gamble a lot. Like, a lot of it's gambling. Another controversy he's been in the news for is with the giveaways where he's selling merch on, like, a live stream, and he'll be, the next 3 people to order shirts get $1,000 thrown in their order, and then people rush to buy the shirts so that they get $1,000, and then he doesn't put the $1,000 in, which you're selling a ton of merch because you're saying, like, you're going to give away your car, and you're going to give away $1 million, and you're going to give away thousands of dollars to these people that buy your merch, and it's insane. And his videos and stuff, I think his audience is probably a majority of children, and that's a problem. So here comes Andy. Andy's coming back. So with talking about the MrBeast controversy, you can't talk about that without talking about the Ava Chris Tyson. And I don't want to elaborate super hard on the Ava Chris Tyson controversy. So the TLDR of the Ava Chris Tyson stuff is that she talked inappropriately to minors. There's a guy known by the name of Lava that she was allegedly grooming, which is very, very wrong. And on public forums, dude, you look like the singer from Dayseeker. Which one looks like the vocalist of Dayseeker? Me or him? And I also don't. Maybe I do know who Dayseeker is. So they all, like, on Twitter, Ava Tyson said that she sent him fire nudes and stuff. Don't share them. There was allegedly a private Discord server with 10 people that were mostly minors around the ages of 14. And she was also talking to a artist, You in the Hat. I will have to look up this vocalist of Dayseeker. I am not brothers with the guy from Dayseeker. So Ava was also talking to a artist called Shadman. I don't know if YouTube is allowing that now, because I've seen a couple people talking about it that have used it in, like, a code. The artist is disgusting at the highest degree. They are people... The artist was basically drawing real kids and putting them in very disgusting situations. So that's all I'll say about that. With the Ava Chris Tyson thing, a lot of it is proven to, fact. It's absolutely disgusting stuff. If you want to find out more about that whole thing, I suggest going to listen to many, many of the deep dive people on YouTube that have talked about it. You know, Some Ordinary Gamer, Asmongold has covered it, a bunch of the Stashing Glasses. A lot of people have done really pretty big deep dives and cover a lot of like the evidence and stuff about it. So another part of that is MrBeast and Ava Chris Tyson were best friends, and they were collaborating together on the 100% Melissa needs to be behind bars for sure. They were partners in creating content, and Ava Chris Tyson actually used to be a male, and they made a transition to a female. Again, I don't have any problem with that. He was of age to make the decision. That's what he made the decision to do. By all means, that's fine. And MrBeast backed him up when he did it. That was a thing that happened. And now that all of this controversy has come out about, Ava Chris Tyson talking to minors and doing all of these really just degenerate, disgusting things, MrBeast has cut ties with her, and for the better, clearly. But I think the damage has kind of been done, and a lot of people are wondering if MrBeast knew about Ava's secrets, because there's been some video evidence of them living together, and in one of the videos on the wall, there is the artist's art hanging on the wall, and they're both in the room. So, and I believe I read they were friends for 16, I think. So, if your friend is starting to, show signs of this stuff, you gotta have some inkling about their secrets or what they may be into. So it wouldn't surprise me if it came out that he knew about it. It was at one time. Like I said, they
Don't
did
pick up the phone.
Make a transition. Yeah, ignore that
Don't
phone
pick up
call.
the phone.
Ignore it. So I gotta think that he probably had some sort of knowledge about this. It's still a developing story. All of these things that we say could be irrelevant tomorrow. It's going to, I guarantee it's going to be a big, big thing for quite a while. The more things that come out. So, I mean, it makes you think and jump down. Like, the more that something like this, especially with somebody as big as MrBeast, you have to think about, a lot of his stuff is aimed at kids. It's encouraging kids to gamble. It's all just really shady. To me, at least. All of these allegations and stuff that have come out so far, other than the Ava Chris Tyson stuff, like, that is, like, pretty hard factual stuff with receipts, and it's definitely sketchy. And, if it just so happened that, everybody was in on it, that's... Whew.
So I just want to touch on this real quick. All of these things that we're talking about, or that we've been talking about, for weeks now, for like all of this, all of it goes back to that whole idea where adult concepts or adult activities or things that you really have to have a fully developed mind to understand and really make good decisions about are permeating childhood.
Yeah.
And, since the dawn of time, how many times have we all gone out before we were, 18 and been like, oh, let's play poker. is poker, gambling. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be gambling.
Yeah,
But
it can just be like a friendly game between friends.
quite frequently, it's wind up. It's like everybody grab your quarters. Everybody's out
grab
there gambling.
grab a couple of bucks and we'll play for you buy in for $5 and you can rebuy for $5 and you can just keep rolling with very minimal money coming out of your pocket.
So that even like way back, like very very far back, that was a thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it still is.
But with all of this becoming so prevalent and so forthcoming, I have to wonder if the internet is essentially, or has become essentially, a magnifying glass or an accelerant or like an oxidizer for fire. The fire that burned before, where it was like, kids are curious. They see what their parents are doing. They think it looks fun. They want to try it. They want to do that. As you grow up, you start to get, these aspirations and just different things. And if the internet isn't careful about being, an environment for mainly adults, and it allows access to kids, and kids become, more ingrained in that, more informed about that, I have to wonder if all of this is just simply from the connectivity and just by sheer chance of access. Not just in the sense of like, these are obviously people who are misguided. That's not up for argument.
Yeah.
But the access of those people who are misguided to getting to these people, that connection wouldn't be there.
If you think about when we were, 12, 13, 14, like those preteen and early teen years.
I don't want to.
Think about when we would go into AOL or Yahoo chat rooms.
Dude, yeah.
It's the same kind of thing, except the people on the other end didn't have the tools that they do now. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. There's been so many advances in psychology and technology where when you combine the two, grooming across the distance, AOL chat rooms didn't support video.
I was just about to say that is like back when we were kids and preteens, early teens, and we were doing AOL chat rooms or Yahoo chat rooms or whatever you were doing to go in and just explore and figure stuff out and talk to these people that were definitely 40-something-year-old people like preying on young kids. We didn't have, like, if you had a webcam, you were balling out of control. But a lot of these chat rooms and stuff didn't support webcams and stuff. But now, like, you literally, like, most kids have a high-quality camera and the ability to use it to chat like that in an instant.
So let me ask you this.
This younger generation doesn't know about dial-up.
Dial-up internet, man. Dial-up was a safety net.
the call waiting when you were on the internet, like I had it. My mom got it for I forget what exactly it was called, but when we were on the internet, there was like a little it looked like a beeper almost, and if somebody would call, it would say their caller ID. And if it was an important call, my mom would be like, get off the internet. So I'd have to get off the internet, and she could answer the call from the computer. I don't know what it was called.
Ring Central.
Maybe that's what it was called.
That's what it was called. It was Ring Central. It had an answering machine, too. But so we've looked at, what, five different scenarios in the past few weeks?
Well, we've looked at the Dr. Disrespect stuff. We're looking at the MrBeast's Ava Chris Tyson controversy. MrBeast is kind of like still up in the air. There hasn't been like hard evidence that he is involved in anything like degenerate with minors. But there's allegations that he was in a Discord with Chris Tyson. Takes an hour to load one boob.
Oh, we're canceled, all right.
There's a allegation that he was in a Discord talking to people, but that hasn't been proven that it was 100% him. So in the grand scheme of things of like people preying on younger people, we have the Dr. Disrespect stuff and some questionable stuff with Stico. and the Ava Chris Tyson stuff. It's like 3 people, really.
Okay, so 3, that's fine. I guarantee you that's not all.
I just saw today there's a YouTuber named Kai. His cameraman, they just found out, was talking to a minor.
Okay,
so.
There you go. So that's my point. We see these. This is not all of them. There are ones that we don't know.
So many that nobody knows.
So let's say, for argument's sake, there are 1,000 content creators. We know there's many, many more than that.
Well, yeah, they're probably in the millions at this point. Anybody can be a Look at us. We're in a basement. We're just 2 dweebs just
watch it
on the internet. Like, we are content creators.
I'm making a point here.
I'm just letting you know.
A fraction of those, represent people that deviant, don't do the right thing.
Yeah.
Even if you were to solution this problem, how do we fix it? Do we sit there and we say, okay, we can fix this by getting the 50 bad people, the 50 bad eggs, kicking them off the service, bringing them to justice, whatnot? Or do we do a better job of stopping the interaction between minors and people on the other side of the internet? But I guess what I'm getting at is, YouTube as a service, or as a provider of a service, stands to be in a very unique position and very capable of doing things toward this initiative, rather than going after 50 different people and continuously looking for what's going wrong. It's one of these things where it's like, do you stop the criminal from getting in your yard, or do you let the criminal in your yard and then call the police on them?
So, it paused live, and now I'm with you all, so my chat maybe didn't make sense there. No, it made sense there, but it is still his parents. So, trying to stop a predator that wants to get access to your children it's very difficult, but it's very easy, but it's also very difficult, because if you're talking about social media and the internet as a whole, and all the ways that they can access them, whether it's, for God, what brain work. For example, like, just to set a scenario, like, say it's a content creator of a high scale. And normally these content creators of these high scales have, a Discord server where people can go and talk about, the content of the creator and this and that, and communicate as a community. Like, I think that's beneficial as a content creator, to have a place where all of your fans and stuff can communicate and talk to each other and build this community. Like, I think that is very important. However, things can go wrong. Things can go south. It's very easy. It's all about just the moderation of it. If people see things that are wrong, they should report it. If they sense that somebody has bad intentions, they should report it. But again, it's a very hard thing for people to do, because a lot of people don't like confrontation. They don't want to be the one that snitches. They don't want to be the one that, reports it, or, ruins it, or brings it down, or whatever. But it is the right thing to do. And, as, if you're on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, like, you can easily talk to your favorite creators or your favorite athletes or musicians or comedians. Like, it's so easy, and whether they choose to respond or not is up to them and how they like to engage with their audience. But if your kid is the one that is engaging with these people, as a parent, you should catch on to it. And it's all about what Melissa just said. It's educating your kids on safety and to be present in what they are doing. You cannot miss when, like, I guess that's a little extreme there. I don't want to say that. it's hard to miss when something is wrong with your child.
Well, a lot to unload here. And I need to get closer to the mic, I think.
Well, you're getting off camera now that you changed your angle.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad thing. Need to be off camera. Yes, it's a parent's responsibility ultimately. To the degree that it's a parent's responsibility, whose responsibility is it to make the parent aware that it's even a threat? Because there are so many parents out there who simply don't know.
That is true. Like, there are tons of parents that aren't in the space where they're just like, the video games, it's just the guy that plays video games. They're no harm. They're just playing video games.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, I'm back to YouTube as a service provider. If you don't want this to literally, like, tarnish what you're putting out there, if you truly care, it's not going to cost YouTube a damn cent to run an ad.
I just want to point out, Melissa just said the thing that every parent wants to hear from their kid, is that her daughter said that as an adult that she made her decisions knowing that she would have to tell her mom about it, and it made her make healthy decisions. That is knowing that you parented to the absolute best of your ability and the absolute dream scenario right there. That is everybody's dream there, is to get their kid to a point where when they're making a decision or doing something, that they think about the repercussions and they choose the right path versus the wrong path. That is your job, and you did it correctly. However, when kids are in these impressionable ages, that's not always the case. And some of them are very naive to the intentions of what these people are capable of. And, especially as a female, as a young female, you are just in the trenches at all times.
I mean,
it's terrifying to think about, because there's going to come a time where that is my reality, is I have to literally be the person behind her, or being in war terms, like being the person in front of her, being the one in the crosshairs of, like, my job is to take the bullet for the person behind me. And as a parent, and as she's trying to navigate these things and being influenced and, seeing things on the internet and, who knows what it's going to be by the time she gets there, like what I'm going to have to worry about. And it's like, that scares the shit out of me.
Well, so it is terrifying. And there are certain instances where, do you have to be the person in the crosshairs? Yeah, kind of. I think there are a lot of times when you need to be the medic behind her, too.
You have to kind of play both roles there. You have to be the one that's willing to jump in front of the bullet, but you also have to be the one to heal her if she gets shot.
Well, and it's deciding, what that bullet looks like. If that's like a be-all, end-all, you're done, absolutely, you got to take that. But if it's something where, it's going to hurt, and it's probably going to, it's not going to be easy, but is she going to learn more, and is it going to ground more and make a better impact on her as a person by taking it herself and being nursed through it?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that whole, learning by, don't make the same mistakes I made. One thing, but who the hell learns that way? A lot of people, they should learn that way. It's like the most optimal way. It's somebody saying, "Hey, look, I fucked up."
Yeah.
But we all know that we learned way more when we fucked up.
100%. that first time where you drank too much alcohol and you threw up, or you got way too hammered and you were just like, I don't ever want to feel like this again, like, or I don't ever want. Well, yeah, I say that now, and I'm just like, nah. When you smoked weed with your friends and you got too high and you were just like, I'm fine, everything's fine, like, or I don't want to feel this way anymore. Like, you learned and you were like, okay, don't do that again. But it wasn't as harming or as like damning as some of these things can be, or as dangerous as some of the. Well, I guess nowadays, like, you could smoke weed with your friends and just die.
That happens way too often. I mean,
I guess that is a thing that could happen nowadays.
They're lacing weed with fentanyl, and people are just like keeling over, and kids don't know how to handle it because they're like, oh, they just smoke weed, I don't know what to do. You fucking call 911,
dude. There was just a case in town where this mother had a kid sneak into her house. He was 18, I think, and her daughter was 13. I guess they were dating, and she gave him methadone. He didn't know. She gave him methadone, and he ended up dying. And now she's facing a bunch of charges and stuff. But like, that's also like, that's another thing that terrifies me. Is like, not only do you have to navigate all of these people in the world, whether it's somebody they watch on the internet or people that they talk to on the internet that they met playing games or doing whatever, or now you have to worry about their friends' parents.
You've always had to worry about their friends' parents, but like, I mean, dude, we've all heard Stacy's mom. Like, now we go back 20 years later and realize how cringe that is. It's like, why did she come out with just a towel on? Yeah. Let me think back for a second.
Stacy's mom was a predator.
Thinking back to when I'm 17, if my mom's or my friend's mom came out with just a towel on, I would be like, why?